Welcome to the Business After Hours, where the ties loosen, the suit relax, and we talk business without the boardroom. Grab your favorite drink, kick back, and let's dive into the world of business after hours.
Welcome back to another episode of the Business After Hours podcast here with Jared and our guest, Justin. How are you fellas doing today?
Well, how are you guys doing?
Doing great.
I just can't believe it's already October.
Yeah, and it's still 100 degrees outside. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous right now.
Yeah.
I'm in Michigan.
This morning's felt a little cool. It was kind of nice.
What, 90?
I think it was like 70. I had to put a sweater. I put a sweater on, so at least that's something, right?
It was funny. I was in Colorado a couple weeks ago, backcountry bow hunting for elk, and I actually had to roll back into Montrose because it was getting down below 20 degrees at night to go get a 0-degree bag because my 20-degree bag wasn't cutting it. And then came back home after that trip. I'm like, what is this weather? Why am I living here?
Well, Justin, tell us a little bit about yourself, speaking of hunting.
Yeah, so, kind of a serial entrepreneur of sorts. Years ago, I had my own coaching company, was real big into triathlon, did some freelance writing for Triathlete Magazine, kind of built that out, had athletes all over the country. Was living in California at the time, went to school at the University of Kansas before that, originally from Texas. Eventually decided to come back home, moved back to the Austin area, took a job at a company called Roka. It was a fairly big startup at the time, probably about 15 million at the time. Came on board the CX team there and worked alongside the managers there. Continued to kind of grow that brand. At the time, we were starting to develop some ballistic eyewear for soft application in the military. And we had a partnership with Tim Kennedy. Met him, was kind of getting into competitive shooting pretty heavily, was doing BJJ and some other things. And I remember sitting down one day with the CEO, Rob, there, and Tim, and Rob's like, so like, you basically don't work here anymore. Like you're good at what you do. And I'm going to push you over to Tim. You're going to go over and help him run his company and grow Sheepdog Response. I was like, so am I fired or is this what's going on? So it turned out to be really awesome. I spent about 4.5 years over there, helped grow Sheepdog Response from kind of a smaller company to, multi-million-dollar brand. Departed there right kind of the beginning of COVID. Was ready to kind of move on to the next bigger thing and do something a little different. One of the technology companies that we had done some work with, real big in the tactical space, was really famous for kind of taking Black Rifle Coffee into the digital space, built their initial website and built them out over the first couple of years, came on board that company as the vice president. We managed about $500 million in online e-commerce for our clients. Did website development. A lot of that was in the tactical space. And then was there for just under 3 years, grew that from, again, a startup under $1 million to a multiple seven-figure agency. Decided to leave that with my CMO there, Cameron Tor, who owns RE Factor Tactical. He was one of the founders of Tor Knives. Really awesome, former Ranger, great business partner. We decided to start our own agency called Growth Factor, started it in February. Been really blessed. We've grown from 0 to about 13 clients right now and gone from 0 to about 90,000 a month in recurring revenue in our first 10 months.
Wow. Congrats.
So yeah, so that's kind of where we're at right now. And we're developing a real foothold in the digital marketing space. We're focused on omni-channel solutions for companies in this ever evolving landscape of marketing as we know it with social media and everything, and trying to help companies figure out how they kind of go to that next level. Like we're called Growth Factor because we've kind of unlocked how we can use an omni-channel solution to get results, because you have to be very strategic with your dollars today. Right. Cash flow is important. So helping them figure out how to manage that with their marketing budget and their marketing efforts to get the best return possible.
So obviously digital marketing companies have obviously kind of exploded onto the scene of things, and there almost seem to be a dime a dozen. So what separates different marketing, not to bash anybody, but what separates great from good digital marketing?
So there's a lot of companies that like you get a lot of where like digital paid media, right? Paid social. You get a lot of companies. That's what they focus on. They come in. They're like, oh, we'll run your ads. We'll promise all these, the return on ad spend. They don't get it. They don't hit the mark. They don't fully understand the brand. They're not invested in the brand. But more importantly, they don't have a holistic approach. So like there is so much more than just driving people to a website. That website has to be optimized. It has to convert well. You have to have really good like welcome flows to bring people into your funnel, keep them in your funnel, create a bunch of touch points that over a long period of time either gets them to convert or become a loyal customer. Because the more lifetime value spend you can get out of that customer by keeping them on board, the better your return is going to be based on your customer acquisition cost, right? So if you have a customer that costs $40 to acquire them and you only ever get them to come to your site once and they spend $100, that's an expensive transaction.
Right.
I get that customer to stay around and spend $1,300 over their life as a customer. Now that $40 doesn't look like such a bad acquisition cost. So we look at the system as a whole. We don't look at one aspect. We look at how the entire system is functioning. There's a lot of times people want us to come in and run ads. We'll do an audit and we'll be like, hey, we don't think your website's really ready to convert. We would be doing you guys a disservice if we drive ads to that site. So we come in, we re-optimize the website because it also benefits us, right? Because if their ads are performing well, we look good. And even if the ads are performing well, but the website's not, it doesn't do us any justice. It doesn't do the client any justice. So we want to drive them to a system that is ready to receive that customer and ready to treat them well and convert them and keep them in the funnel.
Makes sense.
But what do you think is like the biggest factor of your ability to go from 0 to 13 in less than 10 months?
Integrity, doing right by the client. We've done really well at previous businesses and agencies we've been at. We've developed rapport with people where we've always treated them right. And we can go into kind of that philosophy, but we even made a post about it yesterday because we had to relocate some of our employees that were in Tampa. We got them Airbnbs out of the way that, so their families could go there and be safe. And we told them not to worry about work for right now. But it kind of goes back to our premises is people running our business, that we believe in putting people over profit. If we treat people right, the profit will always come.
Agreed.
Why do you think businesses miss that these days? Because it seems like, and especially it seems to be more on the larger scale businesses. Maybe they can get away with it or whatnot, but it does seem like it's more profit over people.
I think especially as you have more investors and shareholders on board, people get so hung up in the monthly P&L, the quarterly P&L. They look at the very near term. They're looking for that near term, quick, return on investment versus focusing on that 5-year horizon. Like, very much like I do my own personal investing. I'm looking at a longer horizon. And I think a lot of investors have forgotten that. Like if you look at Warren Buffett, he is very much still about that long horizon. And so he's not always concerned necessarily about this quarter. It's like, what does the year look like 3 years from now? And so that's how we look at the business. We'll tell our clients right away, like, you may not see results in 45 days, but if you stick with us and focus with us, you will have a business that will scale beyond what you thought you could do. Because just like going to the gym, if you go to the gym, 2 days in a row, you're not going to see anything. If you go 2 weeks in a row, you might start to feel better. But if you stick with it for 2 years, you're going to see results.
Right. It's true. So where do you think people like as small companies, where are small businesses missing the mark when it comes to marketing and websites and whatnot?
So I think a lot of small businesses really forget that first interaction, that first touch point with the customer really matters. And so a lot of them don't spend the upfront initial time really building out that process. And so they get to a point where, like, let's say they get to like $500,000 in revenue. They wind up having to take a lot of steps backwards to kind of readjust, reprocess, reorganize, and start to rebuild. Whereas if they had done that out of the gate, really thought through their marketing plan, who their avatar is, how their website is perceived, how their brand is positioned, I think a lot of those companies would be able to get much further ahead, much faster, and get into like a cash flow positive space as a startup.
Sure.
Absolutely. So, do you feel like I feel like I'm kind of the similar mindset of, treating your employees better than anybody else, because I feel like that the better you treat your employees, the better those employees are going to treat your clients, right? And I feel like that's kind of what you're going into. Do you think that's because of the military or like our background?
Well, to be clear, I never served, but I'm a
Oh,
big
okay.
believer. So I've had the privilege of working with a lot of really badass dudes. Like I've worked with tons of people from special operations. When I was at Sheepdog Response, I became a firearms instructor and a combatives instructor. Worked with law enforcement all over, civilians all over. I've done a lot of training with a lot of really great people. So I'm very blessed for that. Um, I think a lot of it comes down to me personally, my faith. I'm a man of Christ, and I'm a Christian, and so God calls us to serve others, right? And so for me, it's about just doing what I'm called to do, which is taking care of other people. And if I take care of them, I firmly believe that everything else will take care of itself.
It's
No, I
good.
agree.
That's good because I think like it just seems like in today's world that it's a me driven society. So as long as it benefits me, and I feel like we take that into our corporate world too, that we have to benefit from it. Meaning, like even the owners are worried more about their profits. CEO is more worried about their profits. Um, and so to have a servant mentality, it does seem like those businesses, because we've seen it throughout course of history, right? Like the Toms. I don't know if you remember them, where they would you buy a pair of shoes from them, they would donate a pair of shoes. I mean, and that business model I don't think has worked, unfortunately, because I don't know about Toms anymore. And I don't see them like I used to as far as marketing goes. So I don't know if they're even in existence anymore. Is it a good business model in general?
I think there's a lot of ways that companies can still do right by people, and make profit. Was Tom's business model the best business model? Maybe not. I don't know what their financials look like. I don't know how much that
Right.
cost them. There's a lot of factors there. What I can say though is there is if we look at like um, some of the stuff going on right now in the Carolinas with the hurricane, I've seen it online and social media. I've seen a big effort from made in America companies, and like I'm a consumer of their product. I have nothing to do with them financially.
Sure.
Like Go Fast Campers, they're American made, American sourced out of Montana, right? And there's a shoe company that they're, I guess, friends with that's in the Carolinas that basically got wiped out. That makes one of the few companies that makes sneakers handmade here in America. Those companies have all partnered together with like 25 other brands to do a massive giveaway to raise money to help get that company in North Carolina back up and running and get their warehouse in place. And like
Awesome.
that to me, that is what business is about, right? Like all those
Agree.
companies giving up something, giving something away for free because they're championing other business and other people because they're putting other people first. All those companies, I believe, will succeed because they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, I wish we knew all those companies because I'd like to promote them a little bit more because I didn't even know that was happening. Honestly, from my standpoint,
Same.
something like that was even going on between businesses getting together. That's. Do you have any more information on that by chance?
Yeah, I'd be glad to share it. Yeah, if anybody goes and follows Go Fast Camper, they listed like 25 different companies that were getting involved. They were all like USA made and manufactured companies that essentially were going out and trying to do a giveaway. And I think they posted on their Instagram, and they're basically just trying to help raise funds to get these companies that have been impacted back up and running because, clearly, as we've seen, the government's not going to be doing a lot of help.
Right.
So,
No, it's
dollars isn't going very far.
it's very cool that that you see companies doing it. Because, like I said, I mean, you just don't see it as much more these days. It doesn't feel like. And then whenever they do it, like they're doing it, you don't hear about it because
Yeah.
I feel like this should be something that would be a massive blow up of media attention. Just because that 25 companies coming together to do something is kind of unheard of in today's world.
Yeah, no, and that goes back to the people over profit, right? Like it's costing all those companies money to give product, and some of their product is very expensive, like thousands of dollars per item.
Right.
But again, if you do good, I believe goodwill will come back your way.
Sure.
Absolutely. Karma. I believe karma is a real thing.
Yeah.
And then like I agree. I think I always like Marcus Lemonis, and his three P's, and I always feel like process is over even profit, because right, if you have the right people and you have the right process, then the profit will come. And so
Absolutely.
I think a lot of businesses miss that whole process part of it, and they don't create processes and procedures, to be able to run their company efficiently.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's have you guys ever heard of the EOS system?
Mhm.
Yeah, so like
No.
it's called the entrepreneurial operating system, right? There's a really good book called Traction talks about it. And that's a big part of it, like developing process, culture, and your vision, more importantly, like figuring out what the core values of your company are going to be, using those clearly define a vision. And part of that vision is understanding process. So for us, it was like people over profit, integrity, when you build those things out, unwavering integrity with our clients, part of that living up to those core values means building a process where everybody has a clear defined job description. They know exactly what they're doing. The client has good communication. They have good systems for project management. And so you're doing right by everybody by developing a process that allows everybody to flourish, both as the client and as your employees, to do their job well and for you to deliver a solid product on time, as you said you would, because that integrity is everything in today's world. And I think that's the big differentiator between companies that succeed and those that don't, as startups, is the ones that follow through with what they say they'll deliver on.
Now, do you sorry.
Yeah, you're
Now,
fine.
do you feel like oh shit, I lost it. Hold on, go ahead, Jeff. I'm gonna try to remember it.
So what stage of a company do y'all specialize in? Is it small business, startups, medium size?
So we have on our current client roster, we have companies right now that are doing $1 million a year, and we have companies doing $150 million a year. We don't judge; they all have needs, right? And we have capability to help all those. I would say where we have the most impact is those companies doing $1 to $5 million a year, where they're kind of at that place where they have good revenue. They don't have the amount of revenue, though, they need to have a full in-house marketing team. And so we're able to come in and kind of augment that, help them develop some strategy, help them run their paid media, help them do like some CROs, so some conversion rate optimization on their website. Maybe they had a kind of a website they threw together themselves when they started, and they need a more enterprise level website that has more ERP integrations that allows them to kind of scale their fulfillment to the next level. That's where we can come in and assist them. It's much cheaper to bring us in and have us on retainer than it is to fill all those spots with salaries until they get to a certain point where they can kind of bring some of that in house, which honestly, for a lot of companies, that doesn't really become possible until you're operating about $20 million a year in revenue.
I was gonna say it had to be pretty big.
So my question is, do you feel like everyone should be doing some form of digital marketing for every
Absolutely.
business owner?
It's ruled if you're not, you're going to be out of the game fairly quick. Whether you're brick and mortar, whether you're a digital online e-commerce store, it is the most cost-effective way to reach your ideal customer, because you can look at people in a very specific set of socioeconomic or geographic demographics. You can look at very specific interest and develop a very specific avatar and target them very effectively with campaigns that are speaking directly to that person, that are very compelling. And the analytics on that give you so much information back on who your customer is, who's buying from you, that allows you to refine that process even further and just get very, very targeted with who you're trying to bring in as a customer.
What are the biggest holes in businesses' websites?
Often it's going to be the conversion rate optimization, the funnel, the process in which you bring them in. So a lot of times people don't have their funnel figured out. So that point of initial touch point when you bring them in, what is your offer? What is your lead magnet? When they first come to your site, what are you offering them in return in exchange for their information? So their email, their phone number, that kind of stuff, right? And then once you do that, a lot of people are not very good at bringing them into the brand, creating touch points. So do you have a flow that gives them emails for the next 6 weeks and kind of brings them in, tells them the brand story, creates value for them? A lot of brands come in, just start slapping you in the face, wanting you to buy their product, but they're not giving you any value. I believe it's very important to give value to people that are interested in your brand before you start asking them for their money.
It's good. Yeah, because you hear about how important a website is, but then as a consumer, I've never looked at a website and been like, yeah, this is who I want to do business with based on the website. So that's why I feel like, and I don't know if other business owners are like that, just because we just spend money, I guess. But and so I always hear like there's holes in people's websites and whatnot, and so it's, I guess that's where you hire somebody like yourself to come in and analyze the website. And I'm assuming they give you the back end access to the website so you can see the analytics of things.
Yeah, so we'll run typically a full audit. We'll look at everything, and we look for things like site speed, the user journey. We'll install software that allows us to be able to heat map, like literally see how people are navigating through the website, so we can figure out, are they clicking in areas that don't make sense? How can we remove any friction for the end user on that website? Because the more I guess smooth the website is to operate for that end user, the easier they are able to navigate directly what they want in as few clicks as possible. You're removing that friction, which is, friction anytime on a website is what's going to keep somebody from converting. They're going to get frustrated if your website's slow. They're going to get frustrated if the website's not easy to find what they're looking for. So we want to make that as easy as possible. And that is essentially conversion rate optimization. How do we make the website as easy to navigate and check out as possible?
And what's your ideal client?
My ideal client is somebody that's invested in that process as much as we're invested in the process. I don't have necessarily an ideal client. I want somebody that's willing to work as hard on that and find solutions with me, and that can clearly articulate their vision, because being able to articulate that vision to us is what allows us to do our job well. We want somebody who wants to work with us, and like they're not just paying us, but we want somebody who wants to work with us as a partner.
Sure.
That's fair. It's a great attitude to have.
Yeah.
We've kind of had our struggles with digital marketing, and then you kind of like said exactly who they are without even saying it. Well, I mean, not in a namesake, but like you said exactly what they did to us, and how they treated like us. We weren't like a partner in the relationship, just oh, you gave us money, we're good, which I could never understand, because I was like, when you want to make money just as much as we do. But yeah, so that's my little
Yeah, the digital marketing thing has been, and this obviously isn't any slight towards you guys because we haven't done any business with you guys yet, at least. But the ones that we have done, it's been one of them things where it's like, just give me your money and we get you leads, even though you didn't get any sales out of it, but we got you leads.
Yeah, so we're big on the way we structure, especially on the paid ads side, where we're trying to drive business to your door. Our contract arrangement with our clients is set up so that like we make our money if you're making money, because if you're making money, you're going to increase your ad spend, and that's where we make our money. So we're not charging you thousands of dollars up front. We have a small management fee plus percentage of ad spend. And so the only way we make more money is if you're getting the results you want, and that ad spend continues to increase because you're making more money. So essentially our model on the paid ad side is we eat what we kill.
I like that.
Like hunting.
Yeah, and it's great. It keeps us accountable. Like we have to do our due diligence. We have to deliver on what we say we will. Otherwise, you're not going to be happy. You're going to go elsewhere, and we make no money.
Right. No, and I feel like Jared had said, I feel like that should be every digital marketing's goal. Is obviously if you make money, I make money, as it's a teeter-tottering relationship, or it should be. And it just seems like a lot of them today are just like a pop-up, make money, and then if it happens to succeed, it does. If not, they made some money and they can go on with it.
Yeah, we've unfortunately brought some companies on that we've had to unwind some mess from previous agencies, where they had some fly-by-night agency come in, they gave him like $15,000 like for an initial ad budget, and that company didn't even look at their website, didn't optimize it, didn't look at how it was converting, didn't really do the research to understand the brand, blew through that $15,000, and like they had 90 days to spend it, and they blew through it in the first 30 days, and got no results. Like literally, that particular client had, I think, 3 orders from a $15,000 ad spend, and then they kind of just disappeared on them. So they were just collecting a check and bouncing.
Now, do you have any advice for like business owners that are looking at digital agencies, like something that they should keep their eye out, just like red flag here, type thing?
I always would ask for a portfolio work and ask for recommendations. Like if that agency is not willing to like put you in touch with somebody they're actively working with, then there might be a problem. There's no problem in asking, in my opinion, hey, would you mind if I reach out to one of your clients and just ask how their experience has been? I proudly will give you the contact information at a company from $5 million in revenue. I'll give you the email to a vice president of marketing at a $150 million company, if that's what's going to take to get the deal done. And they will speak highly of us because we do our work with integrity.
It's good.
That's good.
So,
Great advice.
Justin, we got your website here. I've got your Instagram and then your LinkedIn. And I'm going to hyperlink all those down below in the in the description so that it's easy for people to just use it in that way. They don't have to type it out on the screen or whatnot. But what are some final thoughts that you can tell us about your company and give it like a little sales pitch and hope to get you some business?
Yeah, so we'd love to talk to anybody that's looking to either scale their company or grow their company that may need some direction on how to do that. We view ourselves as the company who comes in, builds a relationship, a partnership with brands. We help bring solutions that allow us to have data-driven analytics where we can provide profitable results for your company and kind of get, if you ever feel like your company's been stuck, we can help get you to the next level by taking an omni-channel approach and looking at everything from the top down and figuring out how we can start to develop either more leads, more sales, and kind of get you out of that plateau you've been on, or get you to your company to a place where you didn't think you could possibly go. There's always a solution, and we have over 70 years of experience on our executive team. We manage 130 million in online e-commerce right now and about 4 million in digital paid media. So our team is solid. We know what we're doing. We've cut our teeth, in a lot of different industries, including the firearms industry, medical industry, a lot of areas where there's a lot of red tape to do business in the digital space. And that's really given us a lot of insight on how we can be very effective, very efficient with those methods.
Awesome. Well, y'all reach out to Justin. Again, here's his company, and then I'll hyperlink his LinkedIn as well, and his Instagram to Growth Factor Company. And Justin, we definitely appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, we hope that we can get you some business out of this, and thanks for shedding some light on digital marketing and websites on what you can do to help small businesses.
Glad to talk about it anytime, guys. I think it's an overlooked area for a lot of small businesses. They don't view it as important as it should be. It should be like one of the first things they think about, because that's everybody's initial impression today.
I would 100% agree that we undervalue marketing and websites for sure as small businesses. So,
excellent.
Jared, you got anything you want to finalize with?
Just again, thank you for coming on, Justin. It's been a pleasure. And thanks for providing, the knowledge that you did. It's informative for sure.
I appreciate the invite, Jared. It was a good time.
All right.
Absolutely.
Have a good day, Justin.
Well, thank you much.
Welcome to the Business After Hours, where the ties loosen, the suit relax, and we talk business without the boardroom. Grab your favorite drink, kick back, and let's dive into the world of business after hours.